Hey, y'all, come on in. You're here on a good day.
We have an homage today to a 90s classic from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays,
we are the Barbershop Duet.
Hey, y'all, come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during one of the live premieres on YouTube, why, come on in the live chat. Meet the Whiff Pack, cool group of friends from all over the world. They'd love to meet you too.
They would, and for our mention today, we would like to talk about the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Summer Advent Calendar.
Y'all, if you had fun with last year's ice cream inspired scents, there is an entirely new experience coming at ya. Check out a Texan Shaves unboxing video for a few more details, and the box looks like this. The festivities begin June 15th, so keep your eye on the PAA website for when this goes on sale. We will be covering it after all the dust settles because we don't do a daily show, but we'll have it for you here. And what is our soap today?
We have a dupe of Jupe.
Or a dope of Yope. Let's meet the soap. All right, y'all, from this sales page at PhoenixArtisanAccoutrements.com.
COOP is a direct nod to one of the boldest fragrances ever made. It pulls from the very DNA of vintage OG Jupe Homme and pushes it through our own lens, like Play-Doh through the Fun Factory. How's that for a dated visual? COOP, like Jupe, is big sweetness, warm spice, and that unmistakable late-night heat. COOP delivers that same instant impact, the kind people either lean into or at the very least never forget. COOP is not subtle, and it's not meant to be. This is for those who remember what fragrance used to do, and for those who want to feel it again. Looking at you, Matthew Lawrence.
For the youngsters, in 1989, a neon pink bottle hit department store shelves and completely ignored the rules of men's fragrance. And that fragrance was Jupe Homme. And whether you loved it, hated it, or were just confused by it, you remembered it. At that time, men's fragrances were dominated by sharp aromatics, mossy fougères, leather accords, and traditional barbershop accords. Masculine scents smelled clean, green, woody, or aggressively manly. And then Jupe Homme arrived, smelling like cinnamon, orange blossom, vanilla, honey, tobacco, and synthetic heat blasted through a nightclub fog machine, right? It was definitely different. And for a generation of men, my generation, in the late 80s and early 90s, it became the scent.
The fragrance was created by legendary perfumer Mikel Almeric and launched under the German fashion house Jupe, founded by designer Wolfgang Jupe. The exclamation point in the brand name was intentional. Wolfgang Jupe wanted something energetic and commercial, separate from his own surname. The fragrance embodied that idea perfectly, so much so I intentionally left it out of my label design.
Visually, everything about it broke convention. I mean, the bottle was bright fuchsia pink. In 1989, that alone made people stop and stare. Men's fragrances at that time typically came in dark blues, blacks, browns, or frosted glass. Real stoic stuff. Jupe Homme couldn't help but look uber rebellious sitting beside them on the shelf, no?
Then came the scent. The opening exploded with mandarin, bergamot, lemon, and orange blossom, before quickly diving into cinnamon, heliotrope, jasmine, and cardamom. But what made Jupe Homme unforgettable was the dry down. Vanilla, tonka bean, patchouli, sandalwood, tobacco, and honey created a syrupy, warm, almost edible base that clung to clothes for days.
And the performance? Absolutely nuclear. Hence my intrigue. This was peak powerhouse fragrance era. A few sprays could fill a room. People regularly joked that you could smell Jupe Homme before the wearer entered the building. It projected hard, lasted forever, and left massive neon scent trails. During the late 80s and early 90s club scene, that kind of stuff mattered. Oh, there's a rare stage direction here. It says shrugs.
Jupe Homme became associated with nightlife almost immediately. Dance clubs, leather jackets, smoke machines, gold chains, loud shirts, fast cars, mosh pits, late nights, and other things I will not mention. It really did fit perfectly into the era's larger-than-life aesthetic.
Unlike many fragrances from that period that faded into obscurity, Jupe Homme developed a strange second life. As fragrance trends shifted in the late 1990s toward aquatics and cleaner compositions like Davidoff Cool Water and lighter citrus scents, Jupe Homme suddenly seemed excessive. Younger consumers increasingly associated heavy sweet fragrances with the previous generation, and in theory, that should have killed it. Instead, It turned it into a fragrance legend.
Vintage bottles became highly sought after because many longtime fans believe reformulations softened the original beast mode performance. Like many fragrances from that era, changing IFRA regulations and shifting consumer tastes likely altered parts of the formula over time. Fragrance and shave forums alike still debate which batch years smell closest to the original release.
But beyond nostalgia, Jupe Homme matters because it helped redefine what masculine fragrance could be. It gave us permission to, well, try something different. Before Jupe, sweet masculine fragrances were less common in mainstream Western perfumery. Today, sweet vanilla-heavy men's fragrances are everywhere. You can draw a line from Jupe Homme to many of the gourmand and ultra-sweet masculine releases that dominate modern shelves. In many ways, it was ahead of its time.
And despite endless trends towards minimalism, blue fragrances, and clean laundry scents, Jupe Homme still survives because nothing truly replaced it. There are louder fragrances now, sweeter fragrances too, but few have the same personality.
Jupe Homme does not smell cautious. It smells like confidence, excess, energy, nightlife. And the final years before the 90s changed everything. That bright pink bottle became more than a fragrance. It became an era. So with that, we offer up our latest homage. COOP. I am guessing that name is a bit of a nod toward DB COOP.
Yep.
I have been told that I'm going to adore this label. And y'all, back in the day, my sister's boyfriend wore this, and I'm pretty sure that's why he was her boyfriend. And there's a giant rabbit hole to go down on YouTube on how to actually pronounce this scent. Some insistency is being put forward that it is pronounced Yope, but I don't think we have the strength to go there today.
So come along with us, y'all, as we let this out of the box.
This is how the Wonka packages come. We do not have the restraint to buy only one set at a time from BAA. So this is how we know this has been sent to us for free to review. Thank you, Douglas,
Thank you.
Fred, and Huxley. Here is the splash in my favorite foamy paper.
All wrapped
and
up.
Here's our first look at the
let's
label.
see.
Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, I love this. Talk about minimalist, beautiful, exactly what he was talking about in the sales copy. Y'all, is that not a phenomenal label? And it's a hollow label!
Wait, what's the story of DB Cooper?
He hijacked a plane, requested a ton of money to give it back, and then jumped out of the plane over a Washington forest and was never heard from again, other than finding a couple of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bills that he stole along the creek bed.
Okay.
They have not heard from him since. And for all we know, he's in Phoenix making soap.
See if it matches.
And y'all, if you've never read the back of your PAA aftershave, you should. There's some cool information and lore on there. And let's see the label on the splash. I love this, and I love the DB Cooper lore that has been on the labels lately. Is there a fish? There's got to be a fish.
No, but I think it's like it's falling into the clouds. See, the bottom's kind of blurred out. Is that what's happening?
Maybe.
Wait. There's one fish whispering in his ear if you get a magnifying glass.
Oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to see that. You sure that's not an earring? All right, y'all, well, strap on your parachutes because we're about to have our first impression. All right, y'all, being a child of 1975, I'll give you a second to do the math. Jupe was everything when I was in high school, and it was a bit of a promissory note on the shirt tails of Cool Water and Obsession for Men that the fragrances that were going to be coming out for the next 20 years were going to be equally iconic. Well, for me, Jupe was the end of the line. Y'all, for me, Jupe was the last of those absolutely iconic and unique scents where you didn't care what the scent notes were because that new accord being created was so iconic the moment you smelled it, you would never forget it. And no other scent that came after hit those same places in my brain. So I am so happy that this rarely homaged scent has come back from Douglas and Fran. And if I know Douglas and Fran, they will be attempting to recreate the original formulation as closely as possible. So I am so excited to go back to 1993 and have this first impression. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, little vanilla in there, probably. Nice, beautiful, creamy color on the soap. All right, here we go. The shaken clam. Taking it in. Oh, y'all.
He's in a time warp, I think.
If you know this scent, this is a wild experience taking this in again after so many years, because it is just flooding back in all of its joopy perfection. This nails it. Okay, wait. And y'all, the magic is in the balance. I was kind of expecting to be punched in the face by some of the stronger scent notes within the accord, but I'm not. I am not. I am getting Joop in its full, dry down personality with all of its heat, all of its friendliness, all of its sweetness, and all of its passion put together. Oh, this is something special. Hold on. I mean, it's almost hard to dive into the scent notes because of all the memories this is bringing back. All of the people I knew who wore this and all of the school dances that I went to where this was absolutely prevalent on the breeze. All right, y'all, before I even look for scent notes, soapy, hot, clean, sweet, and somehow the scent a bright pink. Those bottles were aptly colored. If I do dive in, there is vanilla. Absolutely. There are gourmandy things. The way patchouli used to be used in the earliest gourmands is there at the very bottom, but it's interesting to dive into a scent where the accord is so good you never wanted to seek out the individual scent notes before.
Yeah, I don't think when you're in high school that you're reading scent notes to even know what's making the magic.
Minty, clean. I think the Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male that I wore for 10 years after the Joop era was a bit inspired by this original, because some of that lavender, mint, vanilla stuff is in this too, but this was the OG. And the cool thing is the cinnamon is not being used for its rugged cinnamon bark sort of face. It's being used as a delicate sweetener, or part of the cinnamon is right in the middle so that your nose hits something familiar in amongst all of the other stuff going on in here. The vanilla is acting as a base note that everything else is kind of standing on, keeping everything clean and spicy underneath. I think what made this so cool is it presented beautifully sweet, but absolutely not floral, which is what kept it masculine, but in a whole new way. And back then, masculine was being done in a whole new way. Something powdery at the finish that is the least sweet part of this. I think that's part of the miracle too. That talky barber powder sense I'm getting at the end is not part of the sweet. And why this does bring back the best of memories is just like it said on the sales page. If you were kind of the more manly man and you were wearing the tobaccos or the evergreens or those kind of things, you know, polo green, this was exactly the opposite. And only a very sort of sweet, congenial kind of guy would be attracted to Joop. But those were the kind of guys I was hanging out with in high school, the kind that didn't mind being sweeter or soapier or cleaner than the generation that preceded them. And isn't that always the goal? It's almost like they went, what's absolutely missing from every scent that's come along so far, and put it all together in a big old pot, made some adjustments, and that's how Joop came out so unique, so different that when you smelled it, you were just like, wait, give me that again. What is that? And much like a good song, as soon as you smell it for a second time, you automatically remember it. You can automatically sing along. If you lean in, heat, fire, passion, and if you stand back, clean, soapy, beautiful. I am so happy to have this. Thank you, Douglas and Fran. All right, take it in. I'm curious to see how it's going to wash over you.
Going back in time. Or maybe it's still current. Let's see.
Yo, I'm saying, this deserves a rebirth.
It's interesting how light this is, but how much there's going on with it. Usually like a lighter citrusy thing, you're like, it kind of just goes on in one whiff, but no, you got to keep whiffing. There's tears to this scent. I know that it's masculine, but it also could feel like it's kind of not supposed to be, because it's not the stereotypical masculine thing. But there's portions in here, the powdery side, the talky side that you were talking about. There is something that grounds it in more a masculine base. But knowing it came out in like the early 90s, to feel how it really still has survived until now is pretty cool. I like how sweet it is, but I don't necessarily want to take a bite out of it. Like, it's not screaming a pie or something like that. It doesn't go quite gourmandy that lane, at least what we speak of gourmands now, but it does approach that honeyed sweetness kind of cozy side without making it go dark. Yes. So somehow it kind of saves in like a honey kind of color for me, like almost approaching a syrupy thing, but not quite all the way to pancakes or anything like that.
Does your brain light up hot pink the way mine does, or am I just remembering the bottle too hard?
Yeah, I didn't know that was the color of the bottle, I have to admit, but it does scream fun. I don't picture this in a boring bottle, if that makes sense. Whether that would have been like the style of it would have been different. Like there's something that stands out on the shelf just by the vibe. It really does scream 90s in a fun way, but like brave for the 90s, which I totally get after reading the sales page and now smelling it. It's kind of its own lane, which is clearly why it couldn't be replaced, because I can see where it inspired things to branch off. Like it's still oddly, if we had a newbie that was kind of in a high school range, I think I would totally throw this in their lap.
100%. Now, much like Obsession for Men is for me, it's really hard to dive down into the original scent notes because of the absolutely perfect personality that they're making in the Accord. Are you able to pick out any individual notes?
Not in the way that my brain wants to, at least with the current lens that we use. But I do like how it is clean, but it is sweet. So normally when I say clean or powdery, I do kind of mean more barbershop-y. This doesn't quite get into that lane, but there's parts of it that click.
Yes.
And I do feel like there are clean, super light florals that are just keeping something airy about it, kind of like a fresh breeze going by. But then the sweeter sides almost add this like kind of summery kind of thing for me. Like I do feel like it's summer fun. You know, like there's just something that when you're not in school, at least in high school, that's more like the fun time. You get to go to all of the adventures, to the beach, or going to camp or something. There's that kind of fun that's thrown in here. And I get your rebelliousness, but not in a way that I was expecting. I guess, 90s rebelliousness is just being different. Like that was the thing about being more vibrant. Even your outfit, things that you got to choose with your style a little bit. Somehow that still comes out in a fun way, but not as stereotypical as I thought when you said rebellious. It's its own kind of way, like kind of more secretive somehow.
And what's cool is usually if you started wearing a fragrance and everybody else started wearing one too, you'd want to like switch. You wouldn't want to be like a normie. Joop was different. There came a point in time where if you weren't wearing it, you were not one of the cool kids.
So I'm actually curious to go look at all these scent notes now, because I really think all of them are going to be like, oh yeah, they're totally in here. But I feel like I have to do like a search and find. Like I got to read it, whiff it, find it, read it, whiff it, and then like kind of separate where the layers are happening. There's nothing in here that's pokey. I think if you like certain things, that's what your nose is going to find first. If you like the sweeter things, the honeyed kind of thing, you're going to go there. If you like the more powdery barbershops, you kind of might go more into the talky or cleaner sides here. If you like how dark it isn't, you're going to enjoy like experiencing all the different spices that are making that happen. I don't know if I would have picked out cinnamon right away, but you can tell that there's texture in here with the spices and how they're interacting. So I do feel like this is something that you can kind of look back and reappreciate as an adult if you knew Joop back in the day, or if you're coming into this new, like you didn't really know it or had anyone in your life that wore it. I think you're still going to have fun kind of adventuring with all the layers and scent notes that are happening in here. It's still super current.
And we need to make a t-shirt that says, read it, whiff it, find it.
There you go.
Am I right? That's perfect. You know, this smells like if a 90s arcade had a barber shop in the back.
There you go.
That's
it.
All right, y'all, come along with us. We're going to break open these scent notes and make a very nostalgic lap. All right, y'all, back to the sales page at Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. The scent profile is Oriental fragrance with fresh citrus. Cool. Top notes of
mandarin, which I definitely get that one right away. Then we go lemon, bergamot, and orange blossom. So all kind of lighter citruses, but not too pokey.
There is a bit of neroli in this, and I think that is how it's standing on the shoulders of everything before it, going back to 1147.
Somehow for me, the mandarin stayed throughout the whiff. Like that's the one thing from the top notes that could dive down into the next base notes for me.
And y'all, it's the candy part of the mandarin. There's nothing sour in here from the lemon. It's like they've taken the best, sweetest parts of the citrus and combined them to be the top notes with just that hint of orange floral to bring it all together. That's fabulous. And that is the first curtain that opens for me. And then we reveal mid-notes of
very warm and balmy, revealing jasmine, lily of the valley, heliotrope, a lot more florals than I thought. And then there's the cinnamon.
And it's brilliant how they list cinnamon with these, because it's the more floral form of the cinnamon. If cinnamon was a flower, this is what it would smell like. And then jasmine, that super beautiful, sweet, small white flower, lily of the valley, heliotrope, which we don't see that often, and which is tricky to do in perfuming.
So our base notes introduce sweet and woodsy notes of vanilla, tonka bean, patchouli, and sandalwood.
I was going to say sandalwood before, but that's the creamy part. That's the part for me that's almost lactonic. It's so funny how tonka, patchouli, sandalwood are being introduced as gourmandy bases here, but they work perfectly. It's almost like the opposite face of each thing that you're expecting. Are being put together to create this, which is why it's so different and unique.
Like, my brain knows that there's florals in here, but it would have expected them to be louder reading those scent notes. They're not. They're just kind of like the little gateway to get you to the base notes, but you need something to keep it light and clean, and somehow that's how they're doing it. All
right, y'all, since we're going pure nostalgia today, I'm going back to my very first shaving brush. It's still the one on all of our graphics. This is the Atomic Rocket from PAA. I bought one from my dad. It is still my favorite shaving brush, tied with the Sterling stubby one. And while both of the PAA shaving bowls we have are built for travel and convenience, I wanted you to see this built in a more standard size bowl. This is our copper aquamarine bowl from Captain's Choice. I love this thing. All right, this beautiful PAA firmness and texture. It's almost like a whipped soap. It's so light and beautiful. All those butters in there. And I'm just going to press some of that into the ridges of my bowl. Now I'm going to make kind of a thin layer here because we don't want chunks to come up onto the brush. We just want this thin layer of soap to transfer onto the bristles before we truly start building our lather. And then we bring out the Sean and Julie Memorial Bougie Sprayer and give this a little misting. Now, this is sort of a blooming of the soap. We're going to let the water hang out down there at the bottom of the bowl. We're going to come back to it in a second.
A few moments later.
And I don't know how to say this, but this is less pokey than the original Joop. The original Joop had something to my nose that kind of hit it hard and crawled up it a little bit. This doesn't. This has ironed it out. Like, somehow this is more Joop than Joop. Just saying.
Maybe that's what they meant by putting it through their lens of the Play-Doh factory kind of swap out.
I had the Barbershop Play-Doh set where you'd fill the little guy with Play-Doh and you'd put him on the barber stool and then you'd turn the handle and it would push this thing up inside of him and the hair would come out and then you could cut it with your plastic scissors.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's even more perfect in the lather by about another 20%. That sandiness that joins in with the powder note at the bottom of that original Joop formula is here for me now in the lather. I wasn't really catching it as much in the soap. And a shout out to Matthew Lawrence for helping inspire this release. We don't do shaving here on the Barbershop Duet like Matthew does, but we want you to see what this lather looks like when it coats and covers a moneymaker. Oh, y'all, I thought this might be a little too intense once I got the lather exactly under my nose. And it's not. Forgive Sarah's busted lip. Her sister's dog decided to give her a big ol' hug when she wasn't quite expecting it and kind of nailed her in the face.
That was a week ago. It's finally better.
Remember that episode of the Brady Bunch where Barry Williams got in a bad car accident and on the show?
I cut myself shaving.
Don't blame the DE, Barry. Well, y'all come along with us. I feel like I'm late for gym and I need to take this down a little bit deeper.
Well, will this be as close to what you're thinking is gonna be?
If it's anything like the soap, it is. And we got the sticker! On the top, this does not make the popping sound unless you pull it off really fast. And a pro tip, when you do have the sticker, grab a terry cloth towel and buff the top of your splash restrictor. That way it doesn't maintain any stickiness and it will not pull that little piece of paper out of your cap. All right, here we go. Let's get ready for our high school dance in 1994, right? All right, here we go. Chin, chin. Oh, just let me sit here for a second. Y'all, even hints of something leathery at the very bottom, and that beautiful powder is just enveloping me. Clean, hot, passionate. Do you get the heat? Because that was a big part of the Joop experience.
This is the perfect time of year to be opening this. Like, it's not quite sticky hot outside, but the sun feels hot. Wow. That's what I'm getting with this. But I have to say, my friends, I did not think I would wear this. But I would definitely wear this splash. Like, on me, I'm getting more of the sweeter sides and the florals with just a gentle kind of warmer spice at the bottom. This is pretty fun.
And why am I apoplectic right now? Because usually with homages, Your nose can dive down into that pool 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, and still be experiencing nuances of the original. This, no matter how far down I go, I just keep getting Joop top to bottom. And all of those nuances I was expecting from the original formula are 30, 40 feet down. But the more I keep diving, the more I'm rewarded. This is one of the most perfect homages I have ever smelled.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but if you look around, I feel like the attire is going back to the 90s. Like if you walk down the aisle at Target, even the little kids that I teach dance class to, they'll walk in and I'm like, what time zone am I in? And I feel like somehow the 90s are coming back, and a scent like this is perfectly fitting for this era. I never would have expected that, but I really feel like it was its time to come back.
So it's pretty simple, y'all. Just be Marcus on his way to his Halloween dance in 1993. Your dad's going to slap a little cologne on you, make sure you smell good enough for the evening. I did not have my own bottle of Joop back then, which is why I think I didn't dance that much that night. Although it may have had something to do with the fact he dropped me off in the hearse and I got my own. So head over to their website at phoenixartisanaccoutrements.com, or even better, do it by way of the link in the description. It's an affiliate link, which lets them know that we sent you, and it gives us back a small percentage of the sale, which we'll probably spend on soap so we can make more episodes. It's at no cost to you, and we would be grateful. Well, I've had my shave, y'all, with COOP. I think this was alluded to delicately in the sales page, but this is kind of a scary scent to attempt to homage, because the pokey parts, if you're just slightly off balance one way or the other, become too hot, become too pokey, become too sticky, and they throw the entire thing out of balance. And I think the reason I was so giddy when I first smelled this is the balance I have always wanted in Joop, so that I could truly enjoy its personality in a way where nothing was going to try to jump out as the star, and everything was going to combine to create that perfect nostalgic accord that I am used to. And y'all, I was asked not long ago what my favorite 5 bases were in the wet shaving world, and PAA is for sure up there. It is absolutely trusty. It is absolutely transparent when it comes to how it holds the scent. You can't smell the Phoenix base at all, and it's always a delight to build the lather and to feel it on my face. I know my razor blade's going to have fun ice skating across my Phoenix lathers. Thank you, Douglas and Fran. I have been waiting for this one, and it is a home run. Hey, welcome to Messages.
So for our May giveaway, we wanted to give you a chance to get $25 to Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements.
Yeah, y'all, and all you have to do to be eligible for this giveaway is send us an email here to we sent you at thebarbershopduet.com so we can get back to you. It's the only way we communicate about our giveaways, and then check back here on our first June episode to see if you are our lucky winner.
Best of luck! So out of some of these other surprise ones when they come from the Wonka factory, I feel like this is one of the ones that was just screaming Marcus, and I'm so glad once you got your nose on it, it struck that nostalgia chord. But I feel like having a more, I guess, advanced palate as an adult smelling it, it didn't put any damper on the scent that you were expecting.
No, it made me love it so much more now, knowing everything I know about scent notes and perfuming and how these things are layered and how they're created. It is just even more inspiring. And I think what I like best is that I didn't own Joop, because it means that I can now revisit the memories that I had of half of my world that was wearing it. The memories that just keep coming back to me as I'm smelling this in both forms are very welcomed. And I'm very grateful to have something that's going to take me back to those people, not just that time.
So putting this through the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements lens, I feel like it really helped bring it into a place where all of these scent notes really still fit in a very fun way.
And y'all, talk about being taken back in time to the people you love. Stay tuned for our summer of 2026 Advent calendar episodes that will be dropping the week after June 15th. We are in for some surprises.
Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll smell better just watching this.